My name is Brightstar, and welcome to Rebuilding Brightstar. What am I rebuilding today? Today, I am rebuilding my love for books. Now, when I was a child, I developed an interest in reading books. I read anything that I could access. I would read the newspaper. I actually had someone who was selling newspapers. I befriended him, and every evening after school, I would go to read newspapers from him. He allowed me every day. God bless his heart. That was not enough. I joined the National Library and I read every book I could find in the library. I think I was a crazy child. I don't know whether I was normal. Maybe I had a mental illness. I don't know, but I was such a go-getter as a child. Anyway, so I read all the books in the kids section, and now I was bored because I would go and then I started rereading the books I had already read. So the librarian, I don't know whether they are called like that, but the people who take care of the library, he actually moved me from the kids library to the adult section was when I was only in grade 4. So my love for books go deep. Like I fell in love with books for poetry, books for stories. I just wanted to learn. And I think no wonder I became so eloquent in English when I was young, and I was in a village school, so it wasn't like I had an influence of an English background. But I read books. If there's one thing I did as a child, is that I read books. Books allowed me to escape the world that I was in. My world was very chaotic as a child, but books made me travel the world. And I've carried that habit everywhere. I went to high school. I also wrote a poem when I was in primary. So my first poem was published in Taifa Leo. Taifa Leo is like a national paper in Kenya when I was in class 8. Class 8 is like grade 8. And then high school, I kept writing. I was like the best in English, in literature. I had the best compositions because I was such a creative person. Then campus, the same thing. I kept reading books. But then as life now got busy out here, not really busy, but as life got a little bit tricky for me still last year, I've carried that habit even until 2024, 2025. But last year when everything crumbled, I just stopped reading books. I haven't read books in months, like 5 months or something. Maybe I can read something online, but I have not been reading books. So today, I am rebuilding my love for books. I need to maintain my English. I actually noticed I've been struggling. I've been struggling because if you don't read, you don't speak well. Great leaders are great readers. So it's about time. And which book am I starting with? I am going to start with this one. This is the last book I was reading before you can even see it has some highlights. It's Eat That Frog. I like this book. So this was the last book I was reading before I temporarily took a break from life. Yeah, I was on a hiatus. It's called hiatus or what? But I was on a break from life. And yeah, so I've not been reading books. I did not just take a break with reading my Bible. At least my Bible, I've been reading it now for a week plus. But my books, I need to go back to reading books. My target is to read like one book every week. I have a collection of books. Do you want me to share you? I have a collection of books, a lot of books. So my target is to read at least one book every week. I hope I'll keep up to that because I used to read a book even in 3 days. I need to go back to that. I was such a badass. What happened to Bryce? Honestly, what happened to me? What happened to me? I was such a dreamer. I need to rebuild that. Anyway, so if you're there and you're watching this, what are you rebuilding today? What are you rebuilding? Do you read books? Do you read books, or you're the person who is always in social media commenting too long? And hey, reading paragraphs in social media is not reading books. You need to read actual books, unless it's an online book. Do you read? If you struggle with communication, if you struggle with your English, if you struggle with any language, it's actually advisable for you to read books outside class. So my challenge to you is, how about you start reading books? I'm starting it today. How about we start together? How about we rebuild our habit for reading books? And then sometimes you can even have ebooks on your phone. You can actually do that. And I think also it's good you know what kind of books you like. I like mostly biographies, autobiographies, books that are written about successful people. I always want to know about them. And I like poetry. I am more for non-fiction kind of a girl than fiction. So I love real life stories. What kind of books do you like reading? I know there's audiobooks as well, so if you don't like reading, you can just listen to books. But let me tell you, there's nothing that surpasses reading a good book. And one lesson I've also learned is that I should always let go. I have this thing when I start a book, I have to finish it, even if it's boring me and I have to sleep halfway. So now that I'm rebuilding that, I will stop. Like, if I don't like a book, I'm gonna stop there and and just read and go to the next one. Yeah, but I hope I will like my books. Self-help books. You know, I'm a motivational speaker by gift. Anyway, bye bye. See you in the next video.